Hi, it's me again with Corel Roll Tips and Tricks. I've been going around with this gentleman, and I helped him a couple of weeks ago, and then this is what he wants. And I started looking, this is a really good looking, but this is a bitmap. He says, I can't get rid of the white box. Well, the white box is the bitmap. You cannot do anything with it. It's a bitmap, so you've got to trace it. So I made it, and I made it pretty close to his design, maybe a little bit darker gray in fact, but his file actually had this on it, and I can work with that, and I'm actually going to bring mine in side by side so you can just remember what I did. And I'm only having to work on one of them. So what I want to do is mimic this. It looks like you can actually see the side of the arrow, and it's darker. Now I'm going to take the 3-point curve line and kind of go from like right about into there to right there, and then just give a little bit of a curve. I'm only going to work on one of these, but then I need to make this darker part. So I'm going to get the 3-point curve line again, and I'm going to go from that node to that node, and then I'm going to just kind of put it up in there till I kind of get where I want. Now I need to look at the top to see how close, and I think we're good. I've got a little bit of a bump right there I do not like. So let's get the shape tool back on this item, and it's actually, well, that's part of my line. That was my original line. So I just, yeah, that looks better. But I'm going to get back to this other line using the shape tool, and I want it a little bit even. I can't get past that line, but I want it a little bit more even and not quite so dark. So what I can do actually here is maybe select the first two nodes and turn them into a curve, and then just give this a little bit of a bump. That looks pretty good. So now I am going to bring in some indexing lines, and that's not the center of my page. He was working off center maybe. So that's the center, but I want to make sure my X is on the center because I'm going to use that quite a bit. So because you can't, it's hard to duplicate three things over and over and over. But I'm going to take the rectangle tool first, just in case I have a leak, and I'm going to get the Smart Fill tool, and I'm going to put it on that. I wonder if we got to do darker green. I don't really like any of those. Maybe I'll go with that green. And I am going to zoom in and try to fill in that spot. And it worked. Fill in that spot. So I'm good. I don't have any leaks. So I'm going to take I can get rid of my rectangle. I'm going to take that first part. I'm going to move it over for a second. I'm going to get that little skinny arrow, and I'm going to go to my interactive fill tool, and I'm going to swipe pretty much the whole way. But then I'm going to put black on both ends. And you know, I might not do anymore. I think I got really lucky and hit it on the head the first time. Now we can take this one, interactive, and I always click on the item I want an interactive fill tool with. And I'm going to take it from here, and I'm going to add a little dark to that end. Maybe not quite so much. Well, I'm getting lucky. Now we move this one over here. We'll just move it back. The only reason I moved it just so I could get that little sliver. But now I've got it selected, and this time I wanted to use interactive fill tool going straight up and put a little dark. Now, if you had to redo that 3 times, you'd never do it. I like it because now I can see a little light and dark. So I am going to group all this together, Control G. This is already grouped together, so I'll be able to move it out of the way in a minute. But I'm going to verify it's there. I'm going to Control D and make a duplicate and I'm going to move the center rotation to there. Not quite there. Go off of it, come back. It's there. I'm going to rotate it 120 degrees. Control D. I'm a little bit off, and I think it's just because this thing isn't really centerable. So you could do two things. We could actually move this up. See, it's a little bit different shape too. I'm going to change my nudge factor to like 0.1, and I can nudge that down ever so slightly. Now, if it has to be perfect, you just have to kind of start over. Now, if you remember, this is grouped together, so I can delete it. So there's and it looks really good. I'm kind of happy with that. Take away our indexing lines, and I am gonna, let me move this out of the way. The boundary tool is gonna be our friend here. I'm gonna make a boundary and move it out of the way. Whoop. Let's change it back to 10 inches, 12 inches. Move the boundary out of the way. Now we can contour. I'm going to go to Effects and Contour. I'm going to contour the outside with rounded corners. I'm going to go like 0.4 this time. I went 0.5 a while ago. Yeah, they're really not touching. In his original drawing that he wanted to do, they're more touching. So let's go back. Let's go 0.5, see what it looks like. There we go. Yep, don't worry about that inside stuff. We could go now and I would select it all again and go up to Object and break the contour apart. Grab your circle and move it down, or your outer, and then go to Object and break the curve apart and just delete that inside part. Now we can move this over. I am going to put a yellow box here. Object, order, back a page, because I'm going to make this one white. I'm going to fill it in with white. Then I'm going to go Object, order, back a page. Now I need to do this one again. Object, order, back a page. And I'm thinking that's what he wants. And Mr. Jim, I already sent you one. I'm going to send you this one also if you like it better. Anyway, I hope that helped a little bit. Thank you for watching.